Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you've been well. I have not, so apologies for my voice today. I'm going to try and get through 5 things tax related for you to do between now and December 31st. It's coming up super fast, so let's see what's on deck today. The first thing that we would recommend doing as soon as possible is some tax planning. Talk to your tax pro, schedule an appointment. If you don't have one, now is a good time to find one. If you wait until tax time, chances are good that firms will not be accepting new clients at that time. I know our cutoff is coming up very soon. In this tax planning, whether you're doing it yourself or doing it with a tax pro, you want to draft your 2023 tax return based on prior year information. So what your interest and dividends, for instance, maybe were the year before, and what you know about 2023. So figuring out from your pay stubs, what's your taxable income going to be? What is your withholding going to be? What do your business financials look like? So taking all of that information and doing a draft tax return of 2023. If you don't like that bottom line outcome, now is the time to make some changes, whether that is changing your withholding at work, making an estimated payment, or doing some additional spending. Let's get back to that. Buy a car. No, not really. But that's what the dealerships really scream at you between now and the end of the year. Buy a car before December 31st. It will help you on your taxes. If you don't have a business, you may be able to deduct the sales tax on the purchase of that vehicle, which may or may not be helpful to you. You may or may not be itemizing. If you are itemizing and are paying property taxes, you may already be getting the maximum state tax deduction. So that may or may not help you. If you're purchasing an electric vehicle, it may be helpful to you, but the rules really changed for 2023. The eligible vehicles changed, and your allowable income to take that credit has really changed. There's also a new credit for a used EV, but definitely requires a lot more research than just being able to say, you get $7,500. Definitely get some advice on that. For a business, know that you don't get to just deduct the full cost of the vehicle. There are limits involved. The limits are higher if the vehicle is over 6,000 pounds. But also keep in mind that in order to take a large deduction on that vehicle, it needs to be used essentially 100% for business. You need to be able to establish that the business needs the vehicle, that it is using that vehicle. It's not just something that you are driving around personally and taking a tax deduction for. We did another video on deducting vehicles not too long ago, and I will link that here. Now is the time to top off your donations. If you haven't done that yet for the year, give to qualified organizations. Keep in mind GoFundMe doesn't qualify unless it's through a charitable organization. Keep your receipts. They are required if you give over $250 to issue you a receipt, but keep them all. If you're donating stuff, keep track of what you gave and what organization it went to and what it was worth, the thrift shop value, not your purchase price, although the form does ask for that as well. If you have been doing volunteering throughout the year, be sure that if you incurred any out-of-pocket expenses, including mileage, that you have kept track of that as well. Again, only if you're itemizing. So if you are not paying mortgage interest and property taxes or a great deal of medical expenses, you may not be itemizing. This may not be helpful to you, but if you are itemizing, those out-of-pocket expenses can help. Keep in mind also, if you like to donate, whether or not you're itemizing, if you are over age 70 and a half, you can donate directly from your IRA account, and it will count as part of your required minimum distributions if you are required to do those, and will give the money to charity, essentially giving you a tax deduction whether you're itemizing or not. So definitely a good thing to keep in mind. Now's a great time to get organized. So set aside a place, both a physical place and a digital place, for all of your tax stuff to go. As all of that mail starts coming in January, you want to have a physical place for those things to go, so you make sure that they get into your tax return. And digitally, you want to have a place to save things too. So throughout the year, having a folder, a digital folder that you can save donation receipts to and save your W-2 when you get the electronic copy, all of those things, having that place set aside and just knowing that that's where you're going to save it can save you some time and some frustration later. If you are a business owner, make sure that your books are up to date. If you need help, please ask for it now and not in February. Make sure that you have W-9s on file for all service providers and landlords and such, because 1099 season is right around the corner. We need to start issuing those in January, and you need to make sure you have that information. It's much easier to get it from people now, and preferably before you pay someone, than it is to get it in January. And last, some last minute spending. If you are planning on giving money away, you are allowed to give up to $17,000 per person per year. So before December 31st, if you haven't topped that off but intended to, be sure to do that. Your 401k contributions are limited to $22,500 for 2023. $30,000 if you are over 50. Those go up a bit every year, but make sure that those get done before December 31st if you wanted to make any changes for 2023. If you're a business owner, make sure that your business has reimbursed you for your home office expense, your mileage, anything else that you are paying for personally. The business needs to reimburse you for. Make sure that happens. Your health savings accounts and IRA accounts, those have until April 15th to be fully funded because there are income limitations and some other limitations around those. So don't worry about topping those off. But certainly 401k has to be done by the end of the year. Anything that I missed? Any questions that you have? Anything else that you think should be done before December 31st? I would love to get that information in and answer any further questions in a future video. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you all stay healthy. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week. Bye.